times. I don't know if I've ever seen a corn scene where they're laughing. It's often quite serious, but it's not. I laugh in nearly every scene that I have with someone. It is funny. Like, coming straight from the sweats. It is freezing. It's winter in Sydney, and this week it's rainy and cold, and I have a really early morning client. I think people always assume that my work is like at nighttime. Actually, the majority of people is daytime. And I have this one client who I've been seeing for years. He always does early morning sessions before work. And I'm not ready to get into the latex yet. It is absolutely freezing to get into. So welcome to vlog number 7. I don't know why, but I never check what number I'm up to. So hopefully it's number 7. Originally, I wanted to call this the 5 qualities that make a dominant, according to me. But I couldn't get it down to 5. The most I could get it down to was 6. And even then it was hard. So this is going to be the 6 qualities that makes a good dominant, according to me. I want to get straight into it. Number 1 is leadership. And leadership is, to me, such an important part of being a dominant. To me, they're almost, I'm not going to say the same thing, but you need such good leadership qualities to be a dominant. You are in the driver's seat of this incredible experience that another person is consenting and allowing you to be responsible for. So you need to be able to lead. Now, I actually think, and look, this is not about gender. Everyone has masculine and feminine qualities. But I actually think a lot of the qualities to be a good dominant come from more of the feminine side. Now, when I started off being a professional dominatrix, I had come from an extremely male-dominated industry. I used to work in telecommunications. Many teams that I was managing were either construction teams or IT teams, and they were heavily male dominated. And for me to kind of be respected in the role, especially at the age I was, I really had to step into some very masculine qualities. So when I started professionally dominating, I kind of I don't know if it was naturally or because that's what we think, about dominance, that it's more of a male thing. I kind of started using a lot of those same male traits or male energies, and it burnt me out really quick. And I kind of realized I don't like being in my masculine that much. So I started deliberately dominating from my feminine. And one of the things I think improved was my leadership. I actually think women make better leaders, because what makes a leader is someone chooses to follow you. If someone's demanding you to follow them, I actually think that's more of how I think of leadership in a masculine way. Like, you must follow me, I'm above you. And that's never going to be very effective, especially when we're in a consensual BDSM or kink context. You want people to want to follow you. You want people to want to do what you say. That's what's going to make an effective dynamic. The second one is facilitation and guiding, which kind of comes under leadership, but you need to know how to facilitate an experience. You need to know how to guide someone through this experience or through the scene or whatever you've designed. So facilitation is not just guiding that person, it's also being able to come up with what are we going to do today to achieve whatever intention. I always say intention over activities, and it really is like, what am I creating today? So a bit of creativity, I think, falls under this one too, but being able to facilitate an experience for someone else. Number 3 is communication. So important. Perhaps I should have put this at number 1. I spend a lot of time teaching people how to communicate. We're not taught to communicate about things like our desires. We're not taught to communicate about what our intention is when we want to play with someone. We're not given the language to express ourselves in this way. We're not taught about consent or our boundaries or our limits or our soft limits. We're just not taught that. We're not taught to how to negotiate a scene. So as the dominant, and yes, all players need to know how to communicate, so vital. But as the dominant, I think there's even more onus on you, because when you're negotiating a scene, you're going to be asking a lot of questions because you're the one who has to design and facilitate the experience. So asking people what's your intention, asking people what are the boundaries, negotiating what is this playpen, this box that we're going to be playing in, what are the limits, what are the safe words. And also being able to ask questions that get you deeper, because sometimes we might ask people like, what activities do you consent to or do you like or help you drop in, and they'll answer you like, I like sensual spanking or I like sensory play or whatever it is, and then that's the end of the conversation. But what's the intention behind the activity? Yes, I talk about intentions for the whole scene, but it goes even further than that. Why do you like spanking? What are you trying to achieve through the spanking? Does it help you get into a different headspace? Does it help you leave the worries of the day behind? Like, get deeper, get really good at communicating, almost like an investigative journalist. I've said this term before. You're trying to uncover as much as you can, because the more you understand about the other person, the better the scene's going to be. Number 4 is safety and trust. No one is going to drop into a scene or be led by you if they don't feel safe and they don't trust you. So you need to be able to establish someone being able to feel safe with you and trust. And I do think this comes down a lot to my prior point about communication. We do establish ourselves as someone who is safe by a lot of the things we're going to communicate, by that pre-scene negotiation, by letting them know that I'm going to respect your boundaries, by letting them know that I understand what safe words are. And that makes someone feel really safe when they see that you're competent in what you're about to do. It doesn't mean you need to be an expert about every activity, but you're competent in about what you're going to engage with this person now. I talk a lot about competence and confidence. And I think we trust someone who does show that they're confident in what they do. If they're feeling a bit, scattered, unsure, or nervous, I'm not going to feel very safe or trust them when I'm about to enter a scene with them. So I think if they can display to me that they actually feel really good and they feel really confident in about what they're going to do, that's going to make me trust them. The next one I want to talk about is energy and space holding. Now, I think some people think energy is very woo-woo. And if you're someone who works with energy or just someone who's very attuned to energy in life, you will know it's not woo-woo. I am reading someone's energy as soon as they walk in the door. I'm reading whether they're feeling stressed out from their day. I'm reading whether they're really excited or really nervous. I'm already reading what that energy is. And I want to actually take this back one step further. Before they even get there, I'm working on my energy. I am working on grounding myself, because I need my energy to be really grounded and present for them when they come. So that's number 1. The second one is reading their energy when they walk in. And then even through the pre-scene negotiation, I'm still reading their energy. I'm still kind of linking into their energy. Once I get into the scene, that's when I'm trying to get them to attune to my energy. So once the scene starts, I'll probably link in with their energy, like physically somehow, or different methods I have. And then I'm going to get them to try to attune to my energy, because my energy is going to be really grounded. It's going to be really calm and safe. And that's going to provide the conditions for them to be able to meet me there and hopefully drop into a really safe scene with me. Space holding is such a rare skill. And I think I used to think it was something you had or didn't. But now, after training so many people, it is something you can learn to do. It really is. But you have to start off being so centered and grounded in yourself and being so incredibly present with the other person. When I'm in a scene or when I'm coaching or training, I am 100% present for that person. Nothing else exists in my brain. I'm not thinking about what happened 5 minutes before. I'm not thinking about where I'm going in an hour. I am there. I am holding the space of this person. The next one is fun and laughter. I put this one last, but it is so important. I often think people look at BDSM and kink, and especially BDSM, and they think it is so serious. I don't know if this is because of how it's portrayed on Corn a lot of the times. I don't know if I've ever seen a Corn scene where they're laughing. It's often quite serious, but it's not. I laugh in nearly every scene that I have with someone. It is funny. Like, plugs fall out when they're not meant to. You laugh, and that's good. It doesn't mean you're not a dominant or you're being, showing less dominant qualities because you piss yourself laughing. I do it all the time, and so do my subs and my clients. And I just think like we're here also to have fun. Yes, sometimes we're working through really deep things, or using it as a very healing modality, reclaiming maybe some things that happened to us in the past and getting power back from it. But sometimes we're just having fun. And that's fine. And it's meant to be fun, and we're meant to laugh. So lean into that laughter. So they're my top 6. I probably could have got a whole lot more, but I think that's my top 6 for what I think makes a pretty good dominant. Hope everyone's having a lovely week.